Hey everybody, this is Paris Simone here. I am Paris Simone coming to you, and I just wanted to touch in, and I had a couple questions that were, not answered, but there were a couple of questions that were brought to my attention. They wanted to know my opinion, and again, this video, sorry, is strictly about vendors, meaning vendor list, excuse me, and different grades of hair and marketing in that direction. And again, this is strictly my opinion, so if it rubs you guys the wrong way, I'm sorry, but again, everyone has to have their opinion when it comes down to certain things. So I would say, if this is you, if you like it, don't be offended by it. That's all I'm going to say, because everybody markets differently. Everybody does their operation differently. In this world, we have a huge diversity and a huge string of things of how we do things differently, and that's what makes everybody different and unique in a way. If everybody did the same thing, then there really wouldn't be any interest in much of anything, is how I feel. So now again, if you are new to my channel, please make sure that you click the subscribe button and also click the bell button as well to get notified of new upcoming videos. My channel is more about my journey, okay? And I'm thinking maybe my journey will help those who are fresh and are new coming to this industry, as far as starting their own business in the hair world, or honestly, it could be any business. It kind of falls into place with some of everything. So again, this is really pertaining to my experiences and my journey. That's why I simply say the questions that I answer are simply, my opinion and the things that I went through and how I dissect things, Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into that. Okay. So the first question that I have is vendor lists. Should I or should I not buy vendor lists? And I know I've done a video about this before, I believe. Vendor list is like a hit or miss. It's definitely a hit or miss. I'm not against the vendor list, but I do feel that the vendor lists are for those who are really not trying to look for vendors. And to me, I think that's the wrong step you want to go in. Sorting out vendor lists should be like your last resort, meaning that means you have ran out of options, because you're going to do a hit and miss when it comes down to the vendor list. You're not going to get what you expect on that vendor list. Now, here's the thing. From my experience, I signed up in a couple of Facebook hair groups, which is awesome. I'm telling you. Like, for example, the first Facebook group that I really love and is really helpful is the one that is moderated by Ebony Everything, Ebony Chanel, but Ebony Everything, and her Facebook group is called We All Can Win. If you look up on Facebook and you type in We All Can Win, then you'll see it. And this is moderated by the woman who owns Everything, Ebony, and she's a very good resource. So, and I do have a few other Facebook groups as well that is helpful, but that's just an example of one that I feel that will be helpful to those who are looking for vendors and things of that direction. So my thing is, if you you need to look for organic sorry, I got a bad cough. If you look for, or if you look organically for vendors, and what I mean by organically, I'm really referring to, if you're looking on Facebook groups that particular are maintained by, hair and people who own their own hair businesses, you can generally 90% of the time can actually get free vendors out of those groups, because everybody wants to see everybody be helped and win, things like that. So 90% of the time you will find the vendors that you probably were tempted to buy from somebody else in that group, and it's for free. It doesn't cost a thing. That's the first thing. The second thing is, again, your second organic research is really just looking up for yourself. I mean, it's a lot of ways you can look up for vendors. A lot of people start off of Alibaba and AliExpress and things like that, believe it or not. And that's really how you can kind of attract some vendors. I know I started off right off back when I first started this hair business. I did start off at Alibaba. And Alibaba, AliExpress. I did start out there, but I did not get my vendors from there. But I did start looking there to see what are my options, things like that. The way I got my vendors, to be honest, is let's see, really through word of mouth, mainly through Facebook groups, to be honest. I think 90% of the time, most of my vendors came from Facebook groups. And again, and I may have, it is a few vendors that is on Alibaba that is actually good vendors, but they will be more on the pricey side. To me, I think it's two sides to Alibaba or AliExpress. You do have the vendors that they're going to sell you the dirt cheap bundles, which means they're going to sell you the bullshit trash hair that I always advertise that is not okay. But however, if you ask what other qualities of hair that these vendors may have on Alibaba, they will tell you most times they have other qualities. They just don't advertise it on Alibaba because those are those are more expensive. So they generally advertise the cheaper version of hair because everybody seems to want to get the cheap hair. So, but they'll tell you in a minute, they do have other better qualities of hair, but those are not advertised. You will not even see those on the Alibaba site whatsoever. So that's why I say Alibaba can be another way that you can look for vendors. That would be the next step. So I would highly suggest Alibaba to look for vendors. I would look for the ones that have the how many years of experience. I look at their ratings, and sometimes it depends on how they even market their hair themselves. Would get me to see, should I WhatsApp this one or not? But that is strictly up to you, because I'm telling you, when I first started, I had a lot of WhatsApp numbers. I mean, I'm trying to tell you, I had a lot of WhatsApp numbers, and I don't even use them. I don't really use them, because as I got more and more into this hair game, I realized that's some bullshit hair. Far away. Keep that away from me. And they continuously send me messages back and forth. Hey, we got this, but I'm just really not interested, because I already got my to-go vendors. I already got the ones that I trust and the ones I like. So there's really no need for me to look for other vendors. But I'm not going to decline any numbers that seem to come up in my inbox, just in case. You never know. So, and again, so that's organic research, one. And also your Facebook groups, two. And again, out of both of those alternatives, 90% of the time, you're going to find some of those vendors that you probably have bought on a vendor list in one of those alternative organic research that I just advised you to do. And you would get those for free. Because the thing is, you have people selling vendor lists for $100. You have some people selling for $50. You have some people selling for $70. And again, I'm not knocking anybody hustle, trust me. So don't get me wrong. Is that what you want to do? But for me, you know, I don't have those type of coins. So I like to do my own research first. And then I'll go from there. I have bought maybe one vendor list in my time, and I guarantee you it wasn't no more than $10. And to be quite honest, the reason why I was against vendor lists to begin with is because when I bought the vendor list and I go typing in the numbers into my phone, half the numbers that were on the list I already had. See, Chinese numbers are long. Indian numbers are long. Those numbers are long, so you're not going to remember those numbers like you will remember your homegirl down the street. So you're not going to be like, oh, I already got that. It's not until you start typing it in, you be like, and if you've already got it saved in your contacts, that is, however you got it saved, and it pops up like, boop, 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 boop. I already got this. You know, so I out of that $10 vendor list, I guarantee you like maybe 50 of them I already had. You know, so most times those particular vendor lists, I like to, you know, advertise for free, because vendor list has been circled around so many times, and I really don't think vendor list should even be I don't really think someone should be charging for a vendor list unless you yourself has been making, let's just say, $60,000 a year or more off your hair by yourself, maybe with your hair that you know is the bomb diggity calm. You know this is the bomb hair. You got receipts to prove it. You got reviews to prove it. You got pictures to prove it. And most importantly, you got the annual income or the quarterly statements to prove that your hair is selling like hotcakes. Okay? That is the only time I feel anybody would probably be tempted to, or maybe tempted, and to buy a vendor list. That's the only time a vendor list to me should be selling. If you got unverified vendor lists, I really wouldn't want that shit. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but I really wouldn't want that hot mess, because you're not guaranteed that most of the vendors on that list you already have anyway. You're not guaranteed that most of the vendors on that list even have good hair. Like, it was one vendor list floating around, and it had a bunch of names on it, at least 20 of them, and all 20 of them weren't even nowhere near good, based on the reviews that I've seen from everybody else collectively. Anything that was on that list wasn't even good to begin with. So now you done bought a vendor list for 20 vendors on it, and they're not even nowhere good at all. They're just, you know, like, hey, if I wanted to sell a vendor list, I got plenty of vendors that I have not even tried that I can easily put on one page of a sheet and probably sell it for $30, $40. If I want a quick buck. Because, and I'll tell you in a minute, these vendors are not verified. I do not know if they have good hair or not, but here you go, $40, please. And that's really how it goes. But I just feel like no one should be buying a vendor list unless the person who is selling the vendor list has these vendors that they personally have used. Like I said before, they personally have used. They got receipts to show. They got pictures to show. They got reviews to show. So therefore, you know it's definitely verified. And they got the quarterly income and annual income to show that their hair is good and selling like I said, selling like hotcakes. That would probably be the only way I would buy anybody vendor list. If I was to do that, that would have to be the specifications in order for me to give you my money to buy a vendor list. Okay, with those criteria, you got quarterly statement proof, annual proof, pictures proof, reviews proof, you know, all of that. That way I know that you use this hair. So this is what you built your business on, and this is who you use and trusted. So therefore, yeah, I can see you selling the vendor list for a good amount of money. And that may be the only reason why anyone should, or if they want to, if they desire to, should buy a vendor list. If it doesn't fit that criteria, then you shouldn't waste your money. I don't care if it's $10, $20, $30, or even $50. You shouldn't even waste it. It's pointless. Y'all guys be on Facebook every single day. Get on these Facebook groups that belong to hair businesses, and you will guarantee you find most of the vendors that people are trying to sell you. You probably will find it in those groups 90% of the time, and that's real talk. So, hey, that's my truth to that. And again, you do as you like. These are just my opinions. I know I am a person that like to do things on my own. I don't really trust a lot of people hearsay. So I like to find out things on my own. Like, for example, you will have a person that tell you, I have, let's see, Kylie sister, or whoever she is, or Snob Life. Okay, I have Snob Life's vendor. I have Cliff whoever vendor. I have these particular influencers and high maintenance, high on the totem pole, people who are supposed to have good hair. So I have this celebrities vendor hair number, and I want to sell it to you for $200. Now here you got to keep in mind, you yourself do not even know if that vendor is truly Snob Life's vendor. Am I saying it right? Snob Life? I think so. But you do not know truly if that is her vendor or not. Who's to say she didn't switch up vendors at some point in time before it came to the world that this is her vendor? You see what I'm saying? You could have bought her old vendor when she was trying out hair herself, okay? And she may not even use that vendor no more. 2, sometimes the ones I would say celebrity, influencers or whatnot, sometimes you buy vendor lists based on the name, the brand, which a lot of people tend to do because they hear, oh, this is, let's just say, this is Arrogant Tay's vendor, okay? Or this is Ari's vendor, okay? And they're only buying it and they're selling it to you for like $200, $300, $150, whatever, because they're selling it to you based on the name who vendor this supposedly belongs to. But again, you still have to ask yourself, how do you know if this is that person's vendor truly? And secondly, and this is the disclaimer because I really don't know, but I always like to do my research. How do you know that, okay, Sally Sue's celebrity who is selling this hair and they're selling, and their hair is like, the bundles is like $115, starting at 12 inches, and they're a celebrity influencer or whatnot. How do you know that hair is good itself? Because I've ran across a couple celebrities' websites who's selling hair, and I have read reviews of those who have bought the hair. I have gotten some mixed reviews. I have gotten some that is horrible reviews. I even have seen some people who have used that are saying that a certain celebrity, like for example, a certain celebrity be wearing hair advertising it as her own hair, but on the website, you don't never see that particular hair length being offered. That's the question. Is that her hair she really using? You know, you just never know. So if you're buying hair solely based on who the vendor may belong to in the real celebrity world, then to me, you're really gambling, because you don't know. Again, you have no idea. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not like they have, you know, China is big, India is big, but it's really a couple top factories in China and a couple of top factories in India. So meaning, I guarantee you, such and such factory, you have such and such vendor already. You just don't know it. But yet, then you turn around and buy a $200 vendor list thinking that you're going to get something new, and turn around, you already have this number already. These people don't give you free previews, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can try it and ask, can I get the last 4 digits of the number to see if I have this or not? I mean, that's an alternative, but they may not even go for that. Who knows? But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an example. Like I said, China is big, India is big, you know, Burma, okay. But it's not too many well-known factories or well-known trade companies that too many people don't know. So in the back of your, so like I said, realistically, you could have Snob Life's vendor and you just don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So, and the last but not least, everybody's quality of hair is not your quality. So you can go by buying vendor lists, you're still gonna have to sample. So you done bought $150 vendor list, and then you turn around, still have to sample the hair, still have to pay for shipping, and then that hair may not be good. Then you go to the next person on that vendor list, same scenario. You may go through however many and find out there's nobody on that list that's even good. So not only have you sampled all this hair and paid for shipping, or they may give you free bundles, however, and you pay for shipping, but you also spent $150 on a vendor list that $150 could have went towards sampling something else from your own organic research. I'd be less mad if I had spent money on something that I looked up myself versus what somebody had sold me. I'll be less mad if that was the scenario, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So to sum this up, buying a vendor list is strictly cautious. It is a hit or miss. I do advise looking in your Facebook groups for hair vendors. I do advise try to do your own organic search with Alibaba. Start from there. I really would not advise buying vendor lists unless the vendor the one who is selling the vendor has guaranteed receipts, meaning they use this hair for their own business. They use this for their own business, and their business is booming like hotcakes. They got receipts to prove it. Their quarterly statements looking good. Their annual statements looking good. These are the vendors that are primarily the ones that they use for their business. Nobody else really. They got pictures to prove it. They got reviews to prove it, and then some. That is really the only way you should be buying a vendor list. All these other unknowns, don't even waste your time. Okay? Now, the second thing, grades. Oh my God. Now, when you talk grades, we as the ones who are the distributors, and that we talking grades in regards to our vendor. So like for me, I may talk to my vendor, you know, we all know there's really no such thing as grades, but this is how they dictate which quality is which. So I know the difference. So if I want to say, hey, I need 10A hair, right? For example, then his 10A hair is really is what he calls his single donor hair. So he's, he advertised it to me because I'm buying it wholesale and all that good stuff to sell to the public. But I don't think it's wise for those like us who are buying the hair, who's already bought the hair, selling it to the public, unless you're someone's vendor. Okay, but if let me just get that straight. If you are selling hair as a vendor yourself, then I can see you advertising AA, 9A, 10A, whatever. I can see that. But if you are selling your hair as AA, 9A, 10A as a regular distributor, regular business owner selling it to the public who are not buying it wholesale, but just to the public, regular, then I would not advise it, because it just don't really seem too professional. Like, it doesn't really seem profitable to do that, because when I look at 8A, 9A, 10A hair, I think of the beauty supply store. Like, why are you still calling it 8A, 9A, 10A? You don't have names for your hair. You don't have names for the categories. Like, you may have this collection, that collection, this collection. It should not be 8A collection, 9A collection, 10A collection. And again, unless you are a vendor and you're selling wholesale to somebody, that's different. But if you got a website, and your website you're posting up there and you're selling to just a regular public, and you got 8A, 9A, 10A, I would not shop on there. Well, you don't even take the time to kind of name your hair. You still stuck on the Chinese vending way. You're not even trying to name your hair to distinguish the qualities and to make it pop, And the last thing that was asked was about Brazilian and Peruvian. Now, I'm still on the fence with that one, because I do know, I do see some people who have very successful businesses, and they still market their hair as Brazilian, Peruvian, and all of that. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to. That I'm not saying, but for me, since I know there's no such thing as Brazilian and Peruvian, it's hard for me to sell it that way. If I know, you can sell the hype to somebody else, and if it sounds better that way, then that's something I guess is up to you yourself. It's nothing that I can really tell you how to change that. But for me, I guess only reason why I wouldn't market it like that is because I know there's no such thing as Peruvian hair. Brazil, no hair from Brazil like that. You don't have people cutting their hair off and giving it to people to sell in Brazil. Not in that manner. And same thing for Peru. India, yes. Del Mar and all that, yes. China, yes. But not them other no, that they don't do that. So that's the reason why I wouldn't market it like that, because if there's no such thing, I'm not gonna market it like that. But if that's what you think will sell your hair, then you do what's more comfortable for you, I guess, is what I'm going to say with that. I will, and I'm gonna end this video with this. I hope I answered most of the questions that was brought to my attention. Again, I am having a Black Friday sale. I've already put the ads out. You should be seeing it circle around, especially on Facebook, but I do have that out. And so my Black Friday starts November 29th. It is an extended Black Friday sale, so it's from Friday, November 29th through that Sunday, which is December 1st. Everything will be 25% off. Then I have my Cyber Monday sale, which it has different specifications. So I will try to link the ads below, but it's a pretty good sale. Free gift, and free shipping. You know, so I am very excited about that. I hope you guys go and look. My website is persimmonshair.com. You can Google it. You will definitely see me there. Okay. Other than that, good morning to everybody. I am still tired. I dropped my kids off at school today. I made my coffee and haven't even got it from the coffee pot. Like, this was just, I guess I wanted to get these 2 questions out the way. Other than that, that's about it. So make sure you like this video. If you have any questions or concerns, or please definitely comment below, and I am definitely waiting to answer any of them. I love good questions. And like I said, my opinion is my opinion. You may have something different, and I would love to hear what you may have different as well. Okay, we all can learn from each other. So other than that, I'll talk to you later. Bye.